Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today I'm here to show you my 2021 version of the Bookworm Life Planner. This is the newest version that is up in Monica's shop. Her Etsy shop is Peanut Butter Taco, and I will leave her shop link down below. Now, she does create this planner. She also creates a lot of stickers that you can use for the planner, and then she has everyday planner stickers as well. So it's not just book related. She has a ton of stuff available. So I will leave her stuff linked down below. Make sure you go check her out. And this is this year's version. So the background here is green, and I'm going to show you how I set it up. I set it up very similarly to last year's that I used, with a couple differences here and there. So I will show you basically what that is. Now this one has a protective screen on the cover, which is nice. The last one was just laminated. This one has a protective screen here. So it's the opening page here, and you always start out with your bookshelf. And so as I read every month, when the month is over, I will go in and I will start writing in the books that I read that month in the book spines, and then I will color them in with a genre color code that I created that I'll show you at the end. I like separating them by genres so I can really see, you know, how many contemporaries I read and how many fantasies I read and all that, and seeing them in color is really cool. Okay, so opening spread here. Now this is a dotted grid page here, and I just used some stamps, which are the same ones that I used in last year's as well. They are no longer available. I've already looked. But if you just Google like script stamps, you can find all sorts of different things. And I just used my stamps and my ink pad, and I titled all of my pages here. So these I stamped directly onto the page because this is the only thing I needed for this, and I'll explain that in just a second. But so I have this here for my book exchanges that I do with Krista and Lindsay. So what I decided to do, since this is a big goal of mine, is to read a lot of these books that have been sent to me by both Lindsay and Krista. I wrote down all of the book exchange books that were sent to me. And I started with the most recent one. So this is from just this past Christmas, our Christmas book exchange. And I have all the ones that Krista sent to me and all the ones that Lindsay sent to me. And as I read some, I'm going to highlight them off. And when I highlight it, that means like I've read it. I also wanted to make sure I had the past exchanges on there too, because I'm pulling books from that cart. I'm not just going to be reading the most recent ones. I want to be reading past ones as well. So I wrote down the ones from 2019 and the ones from 2018. Now from 2018 is when we did it with Lisa, and then 2019 is when we started with Krista. So I do have Lisa's on here too, because I still do have a lot of books that she sent me that I haven't gotten to yet. So this is where I'm just going to kind of keep track of that. I've already read one, which is awesome. And yeah, so this is kind of where all this is housed, and I can really concentrate on it. This is going to be anything that is gifted to me this year. I'm going to write down here, and then as I read some, I will cross them off as well with my highlighter. So for NetGalley, NetGalley is another big goal of mine this year, and instead of writing down every single thing I have in NetGalley like I did last year, I'm only going to write down the ones that I read. So anytime I read a NetGalley book, I'm going to write it down here. That way I kind of know how many I read. And I put down my starting ratio because my goal is to have a higher ratio from books approved for and books reviewed than what I have now. And what I have now is 40%. That's where I started the year off. So I want it to be higher than 40% at the end of the year. So I'm going to keep track of that as well. And then this is my most anticipated book releases. It's kind of a hot mess because I have Post-its everywhere. I'm keeping track of things that are coming out. And then since I have so many, I'm typing them up on paper and I'm like pasting them in. So these are my winter most anticipated releases, and then I will do spring and then summer and then fall. So I'm going to kind of like have it almost like a grid based on the seasons, because that's how I'm doing it this year. And these post-its are just things to keep in mind and things coming out, things I'm hearing about, stuff like that. So there's that. These are my reading goals for the year. So I wrote down all 6 of my reading goals in these little Polaroid things. So there's that. And then we get into the monthly spreads. So the monthly things are going to look pretty similar. Again, I'm going to have my little book sticker for physical books. I'm going to have my Kindle sticker for Kindle books, my audio sticker for audiobooks, and this is where I'm going to keep my TBR basically. And then I just have some notes here I just don't want to forget about. Okay, so monthly spreads again are going to be for my video scheduling. So like, you know, all my book list Thursdays are going to go here and I check them off as I upload them. So this hasn't changed. The only thing that is different is that I didn't stamp the dates in here because this is an undated planner. I actually bought little circle stickers that Monica sells in her shop because it was just much easier for me to put the stickers in versus sitting here and stamping them out. That was very, very time consuming and I've stopped doing that. So I just bought a pack of her stickers, which is awesome. Okay, so here is where I'm going to explain what I did. Now, for my titles, these are the same stamps that I've been using. However, what I did, instead of stamping each one of these out individually every single month, that got very, very time consuming and I was over it real quick. What I did was I stamped each word that I needed onto a piece of paper, and then I scanned that into my computer, and then I just printed out 12 copies, basically. So every month I needed a videos, I needed a book list, I needed a book democracy, I needed a notes. Anything that I needed every single month, I would stamp that out, and then I just printed out as many as I needed because I got real tired of stamping in here. It gets very tedious after a while. So I just printed out my copies, I cut out the words, and then I pasted them in here. Easy peasy. So this is going to be very similar to last year. So I have my videos, I have my book lists where I write down the dates, the topics, and then the books I want to talk about for book list. And then as of right now, these two are blank. Don't know if I'm going to need them or not. Don't have any readathons for January, so I may not need this page. And if I don't need it, if I don't end up using this page, I'm just going to tear it out and use it for some notes or something for another thing, or like a grocery list or something like that. I'll probably just tear it out if I don't end up using this page right here. And so then it would just be, it would go from book list to this, you know. So that's why I didn't, you know, put the book democracy in here. I kept it here so that it can piggyback off of this here that I do need. And then if this is extra, I can just tear it out and I can use it for something else. So that's kind of my plan going forward with this one. So this is my book democracy bingo or book tac-toe board for January. And I explained this in the video yesterday, but Book Democracy is a Facebook group that I am a part of. I'll leave it linked down below. You do have to be approved to be in the group, but it's a book community basically. And what they do is every month you have the option to sign up for a bingo board or a book tac-toe board, and they will create one for you. And so this is my board that someone created for me. And I print it out every month and I stick it in here. And then I try to do it if I can. I don't usually pick books based on these prompts just because by the time I get this, I already have my TBR set. So I try to see like what's on my TBR already that I can fit in here. It doesn't always work out, but it's fun anyway. And it's a good community, so I enjoy that group. So that's my book tac-toe board. And as you can see, I've already read one book. When I do this, I write down the book title that I'm going to be using for that prompt, and then when I finish it, I color it in. So, okay, here's something I'm doing a little bit differently. Now, this is my monthly wrap-up here. I have notes. So here is where I write down my wrap-up. So as I finish a book, I'll write it down in one of these book spines. I put my star rating up at the top. This is for books acquired, so anything that I haul this month will be in here. And this year, for notes, I'm going to be utilizing this one differently. I have found that a few times after I've done my wrap-up, I've talked about the books, but a lot of times, you know, it's been a few weeks since I've read that book, and I'll forget things. I'll forget something I wanted to mention. I'll forget trigger warnings. I'll forget like something that I thought about while I was reading the book. And quite a few times I've thought about it afterwards and said, oh man, I didn't even talk about that in my wrap up, and that was something I wanted to talk about. So I'm going to use this to actually keep notes on the books that I'm reading, and they don't have to be extensive. Just a few things I want to make sure that I mention. You know, for example, I'm reading a book right now that has some self-harm happening in it, and that's really important to make sure that I talk about in my wrap up for a trigger warning. So I want to make sure I don't forget to say that. So that was the first thing I wrote down here, because it happened pretty early on in the book, and I was like, oh, I need to write that down. So now when I do my wrap up, I can look at this, because I use this anyway when I'm filming, and my notes are right here, and I can say, oh yeah, this one I wanted to make sure I talked about, that it has self-harm in it. So that's how I'm going to use this page from now on, is to actually take notes on my books. Just anything specific I want to make sure I talk about. And if I don't have too much, then it's fine. I don't have to write too much, but really important things, I need to make sure I do that. Okay, so that's that. And then we get into February. So basically everything is set up the same every month as of right now. So videos, book list, blank, book democracy. So they're all just kind of sitting here waiting for me now, because everything else is blank, because we're not there yet. Now, something that I could use these blank pages for definitely are readathons. So if there's a readathon that happens, I can use these pages for that, which I definitely will. So that's an option as well. And then again, if I don't use this page, I'll rip it out if I don't need it. So I'll probably do readathons here. And then if this one is still blank, I can rip it out. So that's kind of my plan going forward. Okay, so you don't need to see all of that. I do want to show you something that happens in the middle here. For in between June and July. So this is the end of June. It's a little goal check-in. So you can write down how you're doing on each one of your goals, which is really nice halfway through the year. And then there's some stats for you to look up if you want to. Top 3 picks, which is really great. You know, for the end of the year, you can think about, you know, here's my top 3 books from the first half of the year. Those will probably make it into my top 10, you know. So I really like this type of thing here, just like a good check-in. And then we jump into July. Now, I want to go towards the end here and show you what I set up back here, because these are all still blank. So you don't need to see all the things there like that. Okay, so end of the year, this is after December. Goal assessment, how did you do on your goals? Book superlatives, which is really cute. I didn't actually fill this out last year, but it is cute. Hung out to dry, so these are books that really disappointed you. This is the standout stack, where I will list my top 10, and I have a post-it in here right now. I'm really, throughout the year, I'm going to write down the ones that really stood out to me that I think could end up on my list. I already have one, guys. It's Thunderhead. We've already talked about that. So anytime I read a book that I'm like, this could be a favorite, I'll write it down. And then that way at the end of the year, I already have some that are kind of standing out to me already. So I like that. Books on the big screen, I'll probably fill this out again. If I read anything that's been adapted to TV, I'll put that here. Anything that's been adapted to a movie, I'll put that here. And that's only anything that I read this year that has any type of adaptation. It doesn't matter when, I'll write it in here as I go. Favorite quotes, I don't know that I'm going to do quotes this year. I don't think so, to be honest. I kind of had fun doing it last year, but I really tapered off probably in the last 3-4 months of the year. I didn't really like write anything down or pay that much attention anymore, so I probably won't do the quotes this year. I may end up ripping these out, but we'll see. And then mini book reviews. This I'm going to try to use for my anticipated releases, which I stamped here with some little letter stamps. I wrote anticipated releases. So anytime I read one of my anticipated releases that I talk about in a video, I will do a little mini book review. That way I have them all in one place. And then when I do my most anticipated kind of follow-up at the end of the year, I plan to do that for the entire year. And I'll have them all in one place, and I can tell you quickly what I thought about them. So there's quite a few spaces for that, which is good because I have a whole lot of anticipated releases. And then we get to, after that is a whole bunch of blank grid dot pages. Like the whole rest of this journal is all grid dot blank pages that you can make whatever you want. So here's what I did. These are some challenges from Monica's shop. She sells these little sticker challenge sets, which are really cute. This one is an alphabet challenge. It's just one book for every letter of the alphabet, and then I made this little grid on here and put the stickers in, and then when I read something that starts with that letter, I'll write it in. I just thought it was kind of fun. These are prompt challenges. I don't know that I'm going to concentrate too highly on this one, to be honest with you, but it was cute and I got it, and so I stuck them in. We'll see. But there's a whole bunch of different prompts, and then if I end up reading something that works for that prompt, I'll just write it in. Okay, this is a big one. So this is my 21 books I want to read in 2021, which I have showed you before. But I did this big circle, and then I used letter stickers in here, and then I made a little rainbow burst coming out from the circle, and I wrote down 21 books that I would like to read this year in each burst. And then I took my colored pencils, I colored really darkly around the outsides of them in the different rainbow colors, and then as I read them, I will shade them in a little bit lighter with the same color, and hopefully this will all be full by the end of the year and it will be beautiful. So that's how I'm keeping track of my 21 books I want to read, which I did a video about. So okay, buzzword. This is another goal of mine. I want to do the buzzword challenges every month, and since they've already been announced, I went ahead and just made this little chart and wrote down all the months, what the buzzword or the prompt is, and then I have these little thin, or what are these? They're Post-its. I don't know how to describe them, but this is the size Post-it they are. They're just like thin strips, and I wrote down ideas that I already have off the top of my head for the buzzword. For a prompt with a name or a name in the title, I have 3 overlapping because I have so many that I could use as options, and I'm trying to use books off of either NetGalley or my book exchange cart. Book exchange cart is kind of the first thing I'm going to go to when trying to work on these. So I just wrote down the things that I know off the top of my head that I have that could fit these prompts, and that may be what I try to gravitate towards. So that's that. And then when the month comes and I read a book, I'll take the Post-it off and write the book in the square. And so by the end of it, it'll be like a filled in chart there. And then series tracker, I'm doing the same type of thing I did last year, where I'm going to do numbers, and I just use number stencils that I have. And I wrote out 5 already. So when I start to work on a series, I will write down the books that I read in that series. And then if I finish it or catch up, I will color in the number, and we'll see how many series I can read or catch up on. I don't have a goal in mind. It's just something I'm keeping track of throughout the year. This is a buddy reads page, so anytime somebody says, hey, I want to buddy read this with you, hey, can we buddy read this together, I write it down because otherwise I'll forget. So I have, anytime someone has said, hey, let's buddy read this, I write it down here. So I have the book, I have the buddy, who it is. Sometimes there's more than one person. And then I have location, so where we're going to talk about the book. Usually it's like Voxer or Instagram or Facebook Messenger or Marco Polo or something. So I'll write down here where we talk about it, where we plan to talk about it. And then I have a little check mark box here too. So I've already read one. I read The Haunting of Maddie Clare just now, and actually just finished it yesterday. So I checked it off because we've already read that. So, but I mean, like, this is already getting full, so I may have to do a second spread on maybe like the backside here for buddy reads, because I mean, that's awesome. I'm really glad you guys want to read books with me. So there's that, and then that's it as of right now. The only other thing that I do have here is I have my key for my color coding in my genres for the bookshelves in the front. So, you know, contemporary is pink, thriller is gray, middle grade is yellow, fantasy is blue, science fiction is orange, historical fiction is purple, nonfiction is green, classics are brown, and then paranormal or horror are kind of a red color. And then there is a pocket in the back here where I keep all the stickers that I got from Monica's shop. So these are the readathon. It's just a large readathon thing. So anytime we have a readathon, I'll use one of these. These are some just physical book stickers, and then I guess I should bring these out because I have all of them in here together. So I got physical books here, and that's what I use every month. I'll just kind of color coordinate with the color theme of the spreads. I have Kindles, so whatever Kindle books I plan on reading, and then these are audiobooks as well. So these are the ones that I use on my monthly TBR pages in the very front of the months. These are the ARC requests, and I don't have any in here right now. I should probably start putting some in here because I do have a few, but I think I'm going to put them on the monthly, let's see. I think I'm going to maybe put them over here because I don't really use this column for anything. So I think, you know, every month when I request something, I'll put one of these on here. And then I really like in the middle, it has approved or denied. So you can write down the book and then you can put approved or denied kind of over top of it when you get that response or whatever. So I love that. But I think I'm going to start putting those over here because I don't request a ton, to be honest with you. I've kind of stopped requesting a lot of books just because when I was doing it, I was getting approved for a lot and it started to really, really add up. So I've shied away from requesting a whole lot. But that's okay. If I do request them, then I have, you know, I have these to kind of keep track of it. And then I also do have these Book of the Month stickers that they sent to me, which are just super cute. I don't know how or if I'll use them, but they're adorable. So I have them in here if I do want to use them at some point somewhere. And that's it, guys. Those are my spreads for my reading planner, the Bookworm Life Planner. And I really, really like it. This works well for me. I keep up with it. I'm in it a few times a week, definitely, and obviously every time I finish a book, and I really love flipping through it and just seeing everything, and it helps me reach my goals. So I love this thing, big fan. Again, if you want to get your hands on one of these, they are available. I will leave the Etsy shop down below where I got this, and also the stickers, all these stickers are in there as well. Well, not the Book of the Month ones, obviously, but all of these stickers are in her shop as well. So you can check those out there too. But okay, that is going to be it for me today. Let me know if you guys have any questions at all. I would be happy to answer them. And let me know when you want to see an update on this. Do you want to see like a quarterly update? Do you want to see a half-year update, like a 6-month update? Do you want to wait until the end of the year to see the whole thing at once? Let me know what your preferences are for that. I don't want to do it monthly because they're going to look kind of the same every month, so I don't necessarily want to do it every single month. I think that's a little much, but I could definitely do updates every so often. You know, if you want it every quarter, if you want it every 6 months, end of the year, whatever you want, and I can kind of show you my progress. Just let me know what your preferences are down below. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day. Bye.